Hello, welcome to SAP TechEd. You are watching the session Discover New Capabilities of SAP UI5 with SAP Build Code. My name is Stefan Beck. I'm the Chief Product Owner of the UI5 product family and also lead the Fiori technology program at SAP. As time is short, let's directly jump into the content. The ones who remember TechEd last year, they have seen a big announcement around SAP Build Apps, a tool that is following a no-code approach and is targeting the citizen developers. This year, we complete the SAP Build family with SAP Build Code, a tool targeting professional developers like you and me, basically the ones who usually attend TechEds. So what is in Build Code? I mentioned already that you have SAP Build Apps here on the left-hand side, still existing and still in the Build family. We have now the extension of SAP Build Code, a tool that is optimized for Java and JavaScript development. It goes hand in hand and works well together with the SAP BTP ABAP environment as the S4 extension use case is one of the key scenarios that is addressed by SAP Build Code. Yeah, and what is special about SAP Build Code, it really makes use of generative AI capabilities to support you in building your software and your programs as efficient as possible. As it is running on SAP BTP, there are built-in advantages like the strong integration capabilities, security mechanisms, and also a good data access layer. Everything sits on top of various backend systems. I mentioned S4HANA and S4HANA Cloud as one of the key targets, but it works also for other systems and even third-party systems when needed. Now on the next slide, I talked about parts already. Also one of the key offerings of SAP Build Code, that it's a kind of a turnkey environment that optimizes the startup, means the configuration should all be a turnkey, easy to go. And then it's not only about programming, it's also about testing and lifecycle management. Still, what you know from the past, there's also the guided experience with the templates that help you to build all kinds of applications, full stack, front end, UI application, and mobile apps. However, maybe come to that point, also the fusion development is one of the key targets that we bring the professional and the citizen developer closer together. But instead of talking about the slides, I quickly open a demo so that you can get a direct impression. I jump now over into the lobby of SAP Build, and as said, you have heard it most likely in the keynote. It's not yet completely ready for shipment, so you need some steps to go to the Create button. Then you have to decide, now I want to build an application, and now you have the two options, SAP Build Apps that you know from the past, and also SAP Build Code here. I now, unlike in the keynote, I check the UI application, and then I give it a name, Demo TechEd 5, Stefan Demo, and select the Fiori dev space and then hit the Create button. This now takes a few seconds. It's setting up all in the background. No, come on. And now I can go into the demo. And now we launch SAP Business Application Studio and Fiori tools basically. And I can also not go through the complete demo, but what I want to quickly show is one of these kind of turnkey advantages that we strive for. So if you would select your external resource, means your data access layer, you directly get information. There's a business accelerator hub. You can now choose the S4HANA Cloud system. Basically, then this is what you know. They query the system, and you basically on this level find all the APIs that you're looking for. It's either Data v4 or Data v2. Now, basically, if you now would select such a data service, we would still run a template to bring you to the initial set of the application structure. If it's a Fiori element application, it can be a complete application. And then artificial intelligence jumps in and will help you to enhance your code and to build the logic or the screen parts that you need. Also, honestly, Gen AI is currently not suited yet to build a complete SAP UI5 freestyle application out of the description. So therefore we said it's a combination of templates, and then where Gen AI already works perfectly fine for the small extensions, we make use of it. And basically the same was seen in the keynote demo. Also here they have generated the metadata structure of the OData service, of the CAP service, and then it was the generators and Fiori elements on top who have built the stuff. So we use AI where it makes sense and where it really makes your life easier, and maybe and TechEd next year things already look differently. Let's go back to the slides and come back and now jump over to the UI5 specific parts. So status quo and strategic direction of SAP UI5. So luckily we can say that the customer community is nicely growing internally and externally. There are some impressive figures like 18 million of users here via SuccessFactors for UI5, then already 14 million with the newly built web components. We have 2,000 plus customers building applications on SAP BTP. On ABAP on-premise, it would be even more. And the nice thing of such high-scale usage is also that we get good feedback that we can incorporate into the product strategy of SAP overall, and also specifically for SAP UI5. Now, one of these key improvements that we target is basically the web components. I now show you an HTML fragment, and for the web developers it's quite easy. You can basically see it here. It's a body, a page definition, a header to, button, input, and a list. And therefore no surprise, you see a native header, the button, the input field, and a nice list. And now web components based on the W3C standard allow you to define own HTML elements. And this is basically done here on this slide. You can see the very same structure, but it's now UI5 button, UI5 input, and a UI5 list with UI5 list items. And you nicely see now a Fiori-like UI page that gives you all the product standards and qualities that you know from SAP UI5. And it's now very nice. So you can see this easy to understand API. And also the API as such is the same then for the other native HTML structure. And also what you can see nicely here, you can always mix native HTML with web components. And therefore, this is a key strength. You can use basically web components for any UI framework, be it Angular, Vue, React, whatever. In the end, they create HTML, and in slightly modifying the HTML output, you can launch web components and get UI5 product qualities. And this leads to the following strategy at SAP. What you basically see here is the SAP design system structure. At the bottom, you have the design language, then the UI components split it in behavior and visual design, then the programming model layer, then patterns and blueprints above. And if you now look into the details, the theming-based content is part of the design language. Here you see all these CSS variables, and the ones of you who already use the theme designer of SAP, you basically work with these parameters that are defined in here. Then we have the common CSS layer that is used cross technologies, and then here you see the strategic UI5 web components that are then used for UI5 web components for Angular, for React, and also strongly inside of SAP UI5. So all new controls that are built for SAP UI5 will be based on web components, and this line indicates that the existing controls are still valid. And then on top, we have this highly productive environment, Fiori elements. We come to that a few slides later. And for completeness reasons, we also look into the mobile development kit. If you run that not on a native environment, but in a web browser, also the mobile development kit application would make use of UI5 web components, being a strategic part of the new strategy of SAP. And therefore, to be able to build that in high speed, we have an inner source collaboration model around the web components. Now, but there's much more that we have to present today. I mentioned already SAP Fiori elements. So this gives you standard-ready floor plans and page types that you can use for many types of business applications. You see here basically one page type, list report, the object page for the details, overview page, and also the analytical list page. Besides this kind of page templates, you get out of the box a rich functionality like filtering, sorting, value help. You can read through that up to the draft management. And basically, this is the recommendation as it gives you the best developer efficiency. However, in the past, we also got the feedback. It's kind of a decision between Fiori Elements and Freestyle SAP UI5. And here with the flexible programming model, this is a key enhancement to exactly get rid of this boundary. We have here a continuum. You can start from both sides. Here on the left-hand side with Fiori Elements, use standard floor plans, enhance it with custom artifacts, even custom layouts and freestyle assets. Or you can come from the right side, start with Freestyle UI5, use standard building blocks on top or even standard floor plan components. So now have the continuum that gives you the complete flexibility at highest efficiency possible. Now let's move on. Equally important like the flexible program model is Typescript. JavaScript plus types. This makes or it gives you the feeling of a typed development environment that you have with Java, with C++, or ABAP. And you have huge benefits in doing that, like code completion here, error messages while you code, in-place API reference, easier refactoring and maintenance. And I did not even mention the most important one, that is really a much better code quality. And even more important, you will have more fun in developing applications. So please, strong recommendation, if you have a new application, no question, new application and the right release version of UI5, no question, use Typescript. And the good news is also for existing applications, you can slightly start to use Typescript for the files that you enhance. So you don't have to do it big bang. Start, use Typescript, get familiar with it, and you will like it, I promise it to you. Let's move on. Other new and key part is the RUI integration cards. This is our declarative cards that you can use in various environments. You can see basically here different card types on the bottom side, and the card types are here used in the FLP, but they also are in SAP Build Work Zone. You can use them here in the overview page, in SAP Start, and even in SAP Start native environment. So integration cards are really cool. You do it once and you can use it in many environments. Also quickly showing a demo here. I go to the SAP demo kit, ui5.sap.com. I enter the tools section. And now here we are. Here's the Card Explorer. I launched the Card Explorer. So second click, and now you can see the various card types that we have: list card, analytical card, table, object, timeline card. I think you get the story. Now how do cards work? I said it's declarative. You have basically a kind of a definition file, an ID. You select the card type. Then a card type has an API. So list card has, for instance, the title, the subtitle, icon, and then you can enhance it from there. However, that is you can explore that. And now here is the key of the story, why it is so flexible. You again see here now a list card, and you can now see again the technology, the card type. However, here's now something different. This is now not a direct value that is specified. It's kind of a parameter value, and this is a kind of an indirection. And this is somehow the cool thing now. The indirection, the weight binding, points to configuration. And dependent on the environment where the cards run, you can apply different configurations and override the default setting. If you now have basically an environment that only can have less space, or if you not enough space, you can say now, I don't want to have 4 items. You configure that you want to have 3 items, and then you see that this card changes. So this combination of this declarative approach and the configuration option make the UI integration cards that flexible. Let's move back to the slides. Now, For the ones who have seen UI5Con or not seen UI5Con keynote this year, please watch it. We have now a lightweight bootstrap called Modular Core that is a key improvement for all standalone SAP UI5 application. It boosts your startup performance, and with the Google Lighthouse performance measurement tools, you can really achieve performance value close to 100. So if you use standalone UI5 apps, please look into all the demo samples that I have linked here and start to use it. You will be absolutely happy with that cool new performance improvement. Now, SAP UI flexibility. This is basically something that you know for SAP UI5 from the very beginning. It allows to adjust applications. They are the level. Users can adjust application for themselves, basically. Then there's key users. They can kind of business expert that adapt the application for a group of users. Then basically there's the develop adaptation. So they can develop new application or change existing applications for all users in a company. These are the various levels, and you can have a look here, and also I've linked additional information. So what is new? We now also support develop adaptation for S/4HANA Cloud and for Steampunk or ABAP Cloud environment, sorry, this was the internal name, with the release 24.08. So you have then also in the cloud environment all the capabilities that you know from your on-premise or SAP BTP world already. Equally cool new is now, and this is now available also in ABAP Cloud environments, is the adaptation for specific roles. You now can, as a key user, do your adaptation and then apply it only for selected roles. And this is a key advantage compared to the past, because in the past, if you use several variants, you have to create application variants, and that is semantically, logically a new application. And if you have a new application, you have to redefine all the navigations from and to this application, and this is quite some work. And now let's switch over to a demo. With this cool new feature, we can ease your life here. I go here to the home page and go to Manage Products. I would like to go to the object page. You can see it here better, just some navigation steps. And now when I'm a key user, basically, I have here the option to adapt a UI. And I'll do that for a second, and then we enter the adaptation mode. And basically you can now say, okay, for me, contact person is more important than information, I pull it over. Mobile number is more important than email, you put it here. You can remove add fields, most likely all of you have heard that. And it's also flexible. You can now also move complete section. You now can see the product information below, and maybe the inventory information is more important, then put it here, and then you directly see the inventory information here below. But that is basically what you know. And now the key difference, and it's also a really small one. If you now save as new adaptation, you can now say my adaptation, I don't care really. Then you have to give it a priority, because if a person or a user has several roles, you have to say which one of your definitions should win. Therefore, I give this adaptation a priority 1. And then you can say add roles and say, okay, this adaptation should only apply if you are an administrator or a developer. You select it basically, and then you can save it, and that is the complete magic. No need to define navigation structures, no need to maintain the FLP content. So this is an improvement that hopefully makes your lives much easier. Back to the slides. Now, we have released the Horizon theme last year, and we got some feedback from your side that your users were not really happy with the coloring of specifically input field and read-only and read-enabled input fields. So we have changed that back to normal, so to speak complying your wishes, and also, for instance, the button have been changed. So we will see that, and you will get updates in UI5 version 108, 120, and also in between, so not much more to tell about it. So the key takeaways are you can now really develop cool Fiori applications using Build Code, in the future then with AI support. And also UI5 itself has many new capabilities, like Fiori elements, flexible programming model, then Typescript, the modular core, and UI5 Web Components as the strategic new way to develop controls and components. And therefore, I think it's fair to say that UI5 technologies are the right choice now more than ever. And basically, here are slides that you have to have in the slides for further education on SAP Build Code. Follow this instruction, then also more learning opportunities, basically. And now I say thanks to all of you for listening, and I'm now happy to look at some of your questions. Live Q&A. Okay. Let me now read the first question. Will UI5 Web Components getting pushed more, that more and more features getting included? The SAP UI5 SDKs have way more components. So yes, Web Components will be pushed more, they will get more features. However, it's not the goal that we rebuild all of the UI5 control features in Web Components. So Web Components basically follow the latest standard, the latest UX and design specifications, and the controls have also a kind of a legacy of, let's say, updated and changed, let's say, UX wishes, and therefore we won't rebuild everything. We now build it along the latest guidelines, and the web component as such then will be used. And also that you are not scared, there's currently no plan to directly remove the classic standard UI5 controls. They are still valid. We like to get rid of selected one, and then the clear message is everything that is new will be based on a web component. Good. The next top voted question is from Ahmad. What is the difference between using UI5, using SAP Build Code, and the development of SAP UI5 directly in SAP Business Application Studio? Okay, basically what I said, the SAP Build Code uses SAP Business Application Studio, and basically the enhancement of SAP Build Code will also build into Business Application Studio. So there's no hard difference. The key change is the turnkey aspects. So all the admins and people, IT departments in your company will have a much easier life to set up all the environment that you need with SAP Build Code. For you as a developer, I would say if everything is configured exactly as you need it, there's not so much of a difference. We could also say, yes, obviously we have also built the artificial intelligence into bars. That's also true, like we have to build it in SAP Build Code. So I hope that is answering your questions. The next question is, would you agree that TypeScript is preferable to regular JavaScript? Yes, I hope I was somehow clear during my presentation. Yes, sure. So please do it. It's preferable. It makes life much easier, and we really get excellent feedback from the community. And it might be that one or the other type definition is not 100% accurate on your UI5 side. Then please provide us feedback and we will fix it. But as said, TypeScript is the way to go, clearly. Good, and maybe the last question, exactly a short one. What is maybe the top vote? Okay, are there any examples showing combining Fiori elements and freestyle? For example, starting with a Fiori elements application. So I'm quite sure, I can't promise it, but there's a really, really cool flexible programming model section in the UI5 demo kit. The ones that I have shown around the integration cards. Please go there, search for flexible programming model, and you find a lot of material. And if not, you find my contact data, drop me an email, and can also talk to the colleagues responsible for Fiori elements and ensure that we have that done. It's basically a good question. It's our challenge to do it. Good. So, thanks a lot. colleagues for listening and for having these valuable questions. Enjoy further TechEd. Thanks a lot and bye.